Bark. Heck. Bjork.
And it really
No, they
sucks
don't.
because, like,
No,
you're not gonna get
sorry.
money to make that until you, like, win the Yoko Taro lottery and somebody's like, alright, you got potential, let's have Platinum make a game that you want them to make.
There's a really good point to be made with Nier Automata. Nier Automata is
hi,
very
Luke.
spare on details. Very spare on details.
Oh yeah, yeah. For
to
real.
the point where it's overtly cryptic and difficult and intentionally difficult to understand because it gives you no context.
And because that's how
That's
Yoko Taro
something-
writes, it's not actually missing anything. What's absent is what it should be absent to tell the story the way Yoko Taro would tell one. Also, can we just point out that Caballero, who apparently like runs this shit town made of corrugated tin, takes like it's not greasy enough that he just like takes women like that, but he takes them to his factory. He has a fuck nest in his factory.
Oh.
Dude.
Oh, God.
Right?
Jesus. Well, I mean... Jesus.
It's kind of...
Oh, man.
Yeah, she's cool.
Can someone just throw a lit match at him already? Jesus.
Fucking right!
Just
It's so fucked up. Oh, let me...
just turns into a Human Torch for a minute.
Yeah.
Anybody who remembers Red Alert flamethrowers and what they did to infantry, just insert that image right here. Or Tesla coils.
Along with Rufus. Rufus was a motherfucker. Like, to get you to go on a mission in Amelia's scenario, to get Amelia to go on a mission she like didn't want to or didn't sign up for, fucking your like glorious leader straight up drugged her. Like just drugs the main character and sells her to like a creepy like creepazoid.
Yeah, that's
just
fine.
like
Don't worry
this.
about it.
Like they used Rape Peril as a fucking setup twice in this game so far. Which I guess works if you remembered 7 different stories, so like it's one egregious bit per story. Fuck that.
Yeah, you know, you gotta spread it out.
Oh, I don't know.
The cop out answer is it's a different culture, but you know, no one in that culture really had any say about that trope going around anyway. So
yeah, it's wrong there too. And let's not highball the West.
Well, let's not, shall we? I mean, let's not forget almost every single Western is based on that at some level.
Junk Bazooka will run out, so let me give you a fucking sword there, T260. Fucking A.
Yeah, Yoko Taro is interesting. He does write a lot more than what actually makes it into the games, but through
like stage plays.
Through his combination of self-doubt and through his combination of self-doubt, alcohol abuse, and depression, he ends up putting very little of it into the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and he ends up, like, choosing the most interesting bits because in some sort of, like, weird self-destructive, I need to trivialize my own work thing, he's like, alright, the bad end is canon. Every time.
It's difficult to see what's... Yoko Taro is one of those creators who... It's very difficult to tell what's genuine self-effacing behavior, what's the inevitable crippling depression of a creator, and what's a calculated ploy to present a sympathetic image to his audience. It's difficult to tell if all those things are even present, or if one of them overrides everything else. He definitely has some self-awareness, but it's extremely difficult to figure out whether he truly is aware of how intelligent a lot of his manipulations are, or whether he's just sort of muddling through and getting most of them just because it's worked before, and he doesn't necessarily understand exactly how it worked. It's very difficult to tell.
Yeah, Yoko Taro's interesting. Also, I really hope this Guardian ring thing doesn't, like... Oh, that's good. I hope it's not like a fucking one use. Because that would suck.
The 7 magic power rings. Oh, when you get them all together, they can all be used to resurrect your best friend. Yeah, but you can only use each one ring once. So if I use one of the rings without the other 6,
oh man, I used it to purify some spoiled milk. Fuck.
Pretty much. This milk is my best friend.
Fucking A.
I do definitely appreciate Yoko Taro's approach to a lot of things.
Yeah, straight up.
He understands the principle of mystery alone is intriguing enough to get the player to continue, and even if you don't resolve it, it isn't necessarily important because you may have moved them on to another mystery by the point that they start wondering about the first one's conclusion.
He does resolve them all, by the way.
He does, but he doesn't have to, and that's the key. By the time you're wondering about screen. Yeah, by the time you're really starting to wonder about what the hell was that become as gods thing, you've moved on to about 12 other different, more interesting and more immediate mysteries that are trying to murder you.
Yeah, why did the robot pussy squirt out a Bishonen and they started screaming and then all the robots were chanting "Become as gods"? I don't know, man, but there's some shit going on over there.
I don't know, but there's a giant robot spider that fell out of the moon and needs to be murdered. Get on that, would you?
For real. Holy shit.
It's a lot like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VIII manages to do that in a bunch of ways too, where you get the whole lunatic Pandora thing thrown in your face. You're like, what the balls is this? And then all of a sudden the game goes, don't worry about that. We have other problems.
You need to go get a spaceship.
Quick, here's a spaceship. Oh, you want to know what the deal is with this spaceship? Well, fuck you. Wait 6 hours.
Yeah, and honestly, that pacing matches perfectly with Platinum. The shit Platinum does. Platinum can't write, but what if somebody wrote the way Platinum's visuals and action went? And that was a fucking match made in heaven.
FF8 would have been way better as an action brawler.
Pickbird.
Like the bouncer.
Ah, so we're no longer a small dog child.
Oh.
Like the hit AAA game Dog Child.
Does it have dog AI?
Fucking dog AI. So, the monster system in this game, I don't think you're familiar with, is actually kind of interesting, and it's one of those, wow, they had big fucking interesting stuff going on, in the game design document for this game, and they got to make all of the core shit and not polish it big time. But the monster mechanic is there's different races. There's 4 different races in this game, and characters of each type play completely differently. And the mechs and monsters have 2 completely different progression types. They don't level up at all. In fact, mechs have stats anywhere from 0 to 99 of every type of stat, and anywhere from 100 to 999, the cap of HP, just based upon what they have equipped. And there's ways to get equipment way early, really high-end equipment way early.
Makes sense.
And they have no limits on what they can equip, so you can just put 10 swords on them, or you can have them wear 8 suits.
That does make sense. I mean, you could put 8 suits on a robot if you felt like it.
I want to right fucking now.
You can put 10 swords on a robot. It's not going to be embarrassed or feel weird.
Mm-hmm. And but monsters
may try to ride it as a motorcycle.
Yeah, I would. Fucking Cloud. Monsters fucking absorb any enemy monster at the end of a fucking battle. Just any of them. Yeah, which is actually a throwback, I believe, to earlier games. Final Fantasy Legend, it was called on Game Boy when it was localized here, but it was actually one of the SaGa games, which is why it's a throwback to an earlier game in the IP, in the franchise.
Yeah, Square did that a lot. They localized
Mystic Quest, etc. Oh, yeah. They made that one for us because they thought we were fucking imbeciles, which, to be fair, we are.
Well, it's odd, right? There's 2 distinct markets. There's the guy who wanders into GameStop and is like, "Give me NBA and Madden," and then he sees a thing and he's like, "Oh, there's a girl with big titties on the cover of that game. I should buy it," and gets Final Fantasy VII somehow and goes, "This is weird and hard and bad. I don't like it."
Mm-hmm.
And then
I know a couple of them.
Yeah, Square goes, "Ah, crap. Okay, we have to make a game for that guy." And then there's the person who walks in and is like, "I need SaGa Frontier 4.5. Red side." and the GameStop guy's like, we don't stock that. And then that person gets real angry. File bite off of PlayAsia, Amazon.
Fucking
Stomps out of the store.
I've never imported anything in my life, and I never will. I refuse.
At this point, you don't need to, thank God. I mean,
Wait,
it's
what?
crazy. These days, you don't even
Oh, I
need to
see.
import free-to-play games from other regions.
Nope.
Like,
Don't even
Phantasy
need to
Star
buy
Online
games.
2. Phantasy Star Online 2, you can just play. Blue Burst, you can just play it. There's a translation patch and everything.
Oh yeah, translation patches and shit. That's
amazing.
dope. I meant to mention, I saw the other day. You know what I fucking saw? EQOA, EverQuest Online Adventures. You ever hear of it?
Whoa, vaguely.
Yeah, right?
Long time ago.
Sounds like some... Yeah, it was run alongside... It was run by Sony Online Entertainment, right alongside Star Wars Galaxies, back in the day. It was a... EQOA, EverQuest Online Adventures, was a PlayStation 2 only MMORPG.
Oh yeah.
Weird, right?
Just like FF11.
Which is why it died pretty quickly. Servers were shut down in 2012. I think it was 2007 to 2012 when it was run.
That's a pretty good lifespan for a PlayStation 2 only MMO.
That required that very specific peripheral, the like $40 Ethernet adapter. Yeah.
$40? Are you kidding me? You couldn't even do that. Yeah, theoretically you could buy the network adapter solo, but in practice, the only way to get the network adapter in the US was to buy a bundle with FF11 and a hard drive.
It was bundled. Like I believe with EQOA, you could get just the.
Oh, okay. That's
you were able to get just the fucking adapter.
Okay, that's nice.
And we got that. I got a fucking UFO catcher. I'm a big fan of that shit. That's goofy. But we got that. But yeah, so EQOA, I was gonna say, because you're talking about like translation patches like by fans and shit. There's actually still ongoing since they announced before the shutdown in 2012. I guess this is when it got started. There's a private server project to get EQOA going again.
Oh my God,
so fans are gonna find a way to run private servers by decrypting the packets that were sent to figure out what sort of shit they need. Yeah. Find a way to run private servers, and I presume they'll have to fucking modify an ISO of EQOA.
Well, here's
it's
the
fucking
thing.
Wild. Like, there's gonna be so
like
much to do.
There's almost always someone who worked on that game who kept something they shouldn't have. Who will very quietly release it. Like Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence had an online component.
Or even a lot of the developers, it's not like they'll get in trouble. It's just like, look, we're not making money anymore. Like, I headed the team, and I'm not making money on it. So here you go.
I remember playing Subsistence on a friend of mine's PlayStation 2. He had a network adapter. I never had one. I remember in college just hooking it up one afternoon when I was bored and being like, oh my God, there's a couple hundred people playing Metal Gear Solid 3 online.
Wow.
The balls. And they're all in Japan. And so here's me with my weird US PlayStation account, and I just log on, and I spent 8 hours playing Metal Gear Solid 3 Deathmatch with a bunch of crazy Japanese guys, and I was like, oh, this is so fun. It was really good pings. I was pinging 80 to Japan. It was fucking insane.
Nice. Well, you're on the West Coast.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, no, I was on the East Coast.
Oh, wow, shit.
I went to college in Massachusetts.
Fucking A.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was pinging 80 to Japan, and I had a ball doing this. It was great. You could do, it was the foreshadowing of Metal Gear Online. You could do everything that you could do in Metal Gear Online.
Nice.
You could throw down the magazines.
I remember. I played the MGS3 Metal Gear Online, and I had a blast with it because it was one of the third-person shooters weren't, especially competitive online. Third-person shooters weren't a huge thing back then, and I almost immediately noticed I can just. In combination with the cover system, because it was a stealth game, I can stealth crouch behind cover on the side of this window and pre-aim my sniper shots while I'm invisible and invincible. And I'm like, this is broken. I distinctly remember that moment where I started to abuse it. It was great.
Well, you can also use the Splinter Cell camera angle that they added in Subsistence. So, that.
Oh, beak blinds, that's good.
Blinds?
Ooh. Yeah. Just beak their eyes out? That's fucking dope.
That's scary.
I like it.
Beaks to eyes. Yeah, the
Beaks, eyes, boots, cats.
Subsistence Online was really fun. It was one of those weird things where there was a very, very small group of people who actually ended up playing it. And everyone's like, "Oh wow, this is a good thing." And I sort of saw that this weird sort of sad shadow of it on the PS3 with MGS4's Metal Gear Online, and then in MGS5's Metal Gear Online, and it's just sort of this like, ah man, you know, somebody missed the boat. They missed the memo.
Wow, this fucking
It was good.
rando enemy. Yeah, I hate that. Like, I feel like Assassin's Creed, for instance, did a lot of that shit. As time went on, like, obviously the directions given to them, you pump out a game every year, it's got to look good, even though we're not giving you the time, and, you know, we're basically, like, whipping you to death. It's got to look good, and it's got to be profitable. You put all the marketable features in, all the hallmarks, strip away the experimentals and funds, etc.
Well, it's not even really stripping away the experimentals. It's more that just there's this weird, at least in my experience, there's this weird directive at Ubisoft that you can never remove a feature. Every single game that Ubisoft
explains a lot
has
about the
to
bloat.
be an aggregate game.
Oh.
It has to be an aggregate. It has to be every single best of breed.
Is there
feature.
still bomb crafting in the newest ones, then?
Christ, I don't know. Probably. I mean, like Assassin's Creed Origins, I saw a bunch of gameplay footage for it, and it's like it's like the clock physics with from this game, and the map from the Division, and the cover slide system from the Division, and then your Eagle is literally the drone from Ghost Recon Wildlands, and the menu system is the same as Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Nice.
It's just all this. It's just this aggregation. And
yeah, it's fucking bloated and like disjointed because of it.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
That's fine. It tells me in my race what fucking monster I am right now. Neat.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
This problem that Ubisoft has is that they have these. First of all, Ubisoft wouldn't exist unless they were being propped up by the French government. By the way, the French government pays something like 50% of Ubisoft's development costs.
Really? What the fuck?
Ubisoft is a state-sponsored video game developer. The French government essentially is a part owner of them because they pay them. Because it's a point of French national pride.
I was gonna say, have there ever been any like suspiciously favorable portrayals of fucking French nationalism attached topic in Assassin's Creed?
Are you? Oh my god!
I wouldn't. I honestly didn't play enough of them.
The FAMAS assault rifle is always the best gun in every single Ubisoft game ever. Always. The FAMAS is never not a good gun.
But it's a bad gun. IRL. That's funny.
It's fucking garbage,
That's
man.
really funny.
Let's put it this way. It's bad compared to a bunch of modern rifles. It has a lot of cool technical innovations, but it really is not.
He's ripped. I lucked out.
Problems.
265 HP. This is a good form.
Nice. That is a good.
Yeah, all of this. Yeah, every time you change shape, and your shape is based upon, well, for a monster character, is based upon like what set of abilities you currently have. Yeah, and there's invisibly different abilities marked as like a head type ability, an arm type ability, etc. And that's how it calculates what final form you get. And there's all of this invisible shit that like they never explain to you.
It's impossible. It's like impossible creatures, except with no stats.
But the fun thing is, you also have an invisible stat called your Prime HP, which is a base value plus 4 for every single ability, new ability you absorb. So you'll learn more and throw away abilities that you like have learned before in order to equip new ones, etc. But every time you learn a new one, it's permanently like. You cycle it into and then out of your list of ones you know, because you can only have 8 or so. But it permanently ups your Prime HP. Yeah, so just transform a lot. And I never understood that as a kid, because they never explain it to you. And I would be like, oh man, every time I transform, like the first 2-3 times I would try it, I would get a form I didn't like, that didn't look cool, or didn't have high HP. And I would be like, well fuck, I'm not changing it again, it's just gonna give me some shit. So I would just never absorb new abilities.
Let's be honest, the most important thing is looking cool.
It really is, though. Look at these skeletons. This fucking, like, battle line of skeletons.
Oh no, don't kill the skeletons. Can't you negotiate with them? Throw them alone.
I fucking wish I could. Holy shit.